High Smile, Dr. Squatch, True Classic, Overa, Pros, Curology, Magic Spoon. What do all these brands have in common? They're all very good at direct response advertising on paid social. And I've spent hundreds of hours studying these brands to find the common things that they're doing that you're not. This is the result of my findings. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Alex Cooper and I teach you how to make better direct response ads on Facebook and TikTok. So if you want to make better ad creative, subscribe and hit the bell so that you never miss a video. So let's get to it. The first thing that I noticed is that these brands' ads don't have one hook, they have multiple. I mean, take a look at the first 4 lines of this Magic Spoon ad and notice how every single one of these could be used as a hook. When you're using multiple hooks, you're not just grabbing someone's attention, you are gripping them and then gripping them again and again. It's almost like people feel compelled to keep watching. And it's not to say that you should always have multiple hooks on the scripts that you put together, but just consider it when you're writing not just the hook, but the following 2 or 3 lines. And then you can actually produce variations when you use those other lines as the hook. The second thing I noticed is that these brands use a lot of compilations. Compilations are great top funnel ads because you're quickly conveying social proof. So I went through Dr. Squatch's ad library and it was something like 75% of their ads were compilations. There is a reason for that. This brand is spending multiple millions on Facebook advertising. If they are doing something, it's likely because it is working. And it's not just Dr. Squatch. Look at Magic Spoon, look at True Classic, look at Overa, look at Pros. Most of them have much more compilations than they do single creator concepts. Yet when you look at the average brand, there's a lot of single concept UGC and not a lot of compilations. So what can you do? You can take the stuff that is working as a single creator concept and turn them into mashups. We've found very often when we've got a winner as a single creator concept, it will perform better as a compilation. For example, we had one recently where we onboarded this brand last month. I managed to find a winner pretty much instantly. There was a single creator concept that we launched in either week 1 or week 2. It was spending about 75-80% of the ad account's daily spend. And then we took that single creator concept, we turned it into a mashup with some of the other content that some of it was performing well, some of it wasn't. We just took it, turned it into a mashup using the intro, using the hook and the certain clips from the original concept and then the outro, I think, and then just weaved in other clips from other creators. And then that ad swallowed up the original winner. And now that ad is spending like 90% of the daily budget and the original winner is barely getting any spend. You can also think about how can I take the B-roll that I've got from all the concepts so far and turn that into a compilation. There's a cool tool called 11 Labs, which we use to generate AI voiceovers.
Subscribe to Alex for more great videos about ad creative.
So you can literally take all the existing footage you've already got, to put together a B-roll mashup and then put it through 11 Labs with a script, and you wouldn't have to pay any extra creators, you wouldn't have to do any extra workload. You could just pretty much generate unlimited variations of concepts through doing that. You can take stuff that's converting already and add some winning hooks to it, some other hooks that you used previously, hooks on other ads, replace them or insert them. You could put together a talking head mashup with all of the A-roll content. You could ship your product out to 10 people on a UGC platform like Billow, which I do not advocate for, but in this context, it might make sense. Just get them to freestyle. And even if the ads they deliver are unusable, you can just take the 2 or 3 clips that you get from the video that are good and then turn them into a bunch of different compilations. Point being, you probably need to be producing more compilations. The third thing these big brands do is they use video editing to their advantage. And I'm not just talking about adding a TikTok overlay or a sound effect here and there. Every single part of the ad is retention hacked for optimal performance. Look at the way they're using zooms, they use funny sounds, they use graphics, effects, emojis, transitions, quick cuts to keep the user engaged throughout the ad. Now, most of these brands are generally targeting a younger to middle-aged audience, but I want you to consider this editing style will not work for every single brand. For example, let's just say you've got a 60-year-old female as your target audience. That 60-year-old female is not going to respond well to a Mr. Beast style edit because she's just not used to seeing that kind of stuff in her feed. She's probably used to seeing slower, longer, more drawn out content, which means when she sees something like this, she is going to get overwhelmed and likely scroll straight past, which is a good point really, because what works for these brands might not necessarily work for you. A At the end of the day, it's about thinking about what else is your target audience also seeing in their feed, and how can I create an experience similar to that of what they're already seeing, so it slips into their feed and makes them feel like it is not an ad. So the fourth thing that I found is that these brands run highly leveraged tests. And True Classic are great at this. I actually want you to check out what they're doing with their hook testing. Look at how they've got this top bar on Facebook in the 4:5 aspect ratio. This is a hugely highly leveraged test because you can generate unlimited, well not unlimited, but as many as you can think of ad variations effectively for free just by testing this. And it's going to have a big impact on the outcome of the ads because you can literally use any angle, any variation of the hook. So they identify the few levers that they can pull very easily to make a big impact on ad performance. The next thing they do is that they're very clever about their visuals. And what I mean by that is if you've got a hook where it's just a talking head and someone is telling you about the product, okay, that's good, but I'm only seeing one thing. There's only one output that is visually or audibly stimulating about this clip. But instead, if you take that same hook and you keep the audio from it, but you replace the clip with a B-roll clip of the problem being shown, or just some way to visualize the thing that you're saying. Now you've got two things that are stimulating about the hook. And it will usually do a better job of grabbing and keeping someone's attention. And this is something that these guys do throughout their entire videos. Every time they've got someone describing something, there's usually a relevant visual of them agitating that problem or showing that benefit or exaggerating exactly what they're trying to say. And it's done on purpose because when you have multiple stimulants happening in a video, it makes people watch for longer. And it's just a lot more interesting to watch than someone talking to the screen, telling you about why the product is good instead of showing you. And that's not to say use B-roll all the time. There are definitely times when A-roll makes more sense, especially if during the A-roll you are showing the product. For example, if you are eating some popcorn or if you are showing how stretchy some jeans are. But generally the use of B-roll, and more importantly, the effective use of B-roll, is a net positive on the ad. Point number 6, they use end cards. And I don't know why more brands aren't using this. If you have a person who has watched through to the end of your video, they have showed at least some signal of intent. And now you have this free real estate where you can sell them on your products or they're going to click off and go somewhere else. Every video we produce, we've got a 10, sometimes 15-second end card showing the benefits of the products, giving them a reason to buy now. And that might just be the push that someone needs over the edge. At the end of the day, they've already watched the whole video, so it's pretty much free visual real estate. And once again, look at all the big brands. A lot of them are doing this. And for some reason, a lot of the small and medium-sized brands just don't use any end cards. And the last thing that these brands do is that they know their audience. They've defined each of their specific segments and they talk to them directly in their hooks. So I took a look into Magic Spoon and True Classic ads and did a deep dive on their 3 audiences that they're targeting in their ads. Well, not they're like literally targeting, but who they are speaking to. And both of them, 3 clearly defined audiences spoken to directly in their ads. And you'd think that there's only so many different ways that you can rephrase a hook. The reality is that half of the game is just define your audiences and then finding 1,000 different ways to communicate that message. I mean, take this graphic that I posted on Twitter recently. So the concept is we're advertising a healthy, tasty energy bar. So the original angle was this energy bar tastes great and it's actually healthy. Okay, so now how can we spin this? Now that we know who our audience is, we know what the product is, how can we spin this multiple different ways? So you can put a negative spin on it and say, healthy snacks shouldn't taste as good. You can turn it into a question and say, do your healthy snacks taste like cardboard? Turn it into experience. You can turn it into a social proof hook, a call out, a how to. Like there are tons and tons of different ways that you can rephrase the hooks. It's just about defining those audiences and then, like I said, communicating that message in many different ways. And honestly, I think that this is the most important point of them all because you can talk about fancy edits, you can talk about different creators. At the end of the day, if your ad doesn't communicate directly to your target audience, then they're not going to buy. So thanks for watching this video. If you found it valuable, please like and subscribe, turn the bell on so that you get notifications. I do drop weekly videos like this where I teach you how to make better direct response ad creatives. So thank you for watching and I'll catch you next time.